Call the Thursday, May 13th, 2021 City Commission meeting to order with 5 commissioners present. Minutes of last month's meeting, comments, corrections, additions?
I have none.
None.
Citizens' comments? Look at them. One of these days, there's going to be somebody sitting back there that wants to make a comment. Nothing on the consent agenda. The first item is Vine Street Frontage Road, public hearing to consider vacating right-of-way 2917 Vine. I'll declare the public meeting open, and we'll hear from Mr. Brown.
Good evening, Commissioners. I am John Brown. I'm the project manager for the City of Hayes, and the city has received petitions to vacate a portion of the West Vine Street Frontage Road adjacent to the intersection of 32nd and Vine. With the construction of the roundabout at the intersection of 32nd and 33rd Street, the West Frontage Road was disconnected from 32nd Street, leaving a portion of the frontage road right-of-way, both north and south of 32nd Street, as excess property. Those two areas are shown in red on the drawing at the right here. So the one in front of Hayes Chevrolet to the south of 32nd Street, and the one in front of Pheasant Run to the north of 32nd Street. During the design and the right-of-way acquisition phase of this North Vine Street corridor project, transferring this excess right-of-way back to the adjacent property owners was considered, with the requirement that public utility easements be reserved. This aerial photo may help to visualize the areas in question. To help you get oriented, this image is looking southeast toward the mall. Starbucks is in the upper center right here. The two properties over here on the next slide. Pheasant Run, 3201 Vine. They've petitioned for 2,237 square feet of excess right-of-way, where their parking lot was adjusted, utilizing space that was once the frontage road to compensate for parking that was lost adjacent to 32nd Street due to the construction of the roundabout.
John, was that just an equal number of them, or did they get a couple more by being able to expand out?
No, it turned out to be about a net neutral on that. Okay. I think they lost 3 and gained 3.
Okay.
So
thank you.
The owners of Hayes Chevrolet at 2917 Vine have petitioned for 5,889 square feet of excess right-of-way where the frontage road was removed. This helps to compensate for the widening of 32nd Street at the approach to the roundabout there. The submitted petitions request the vacating of the excess right-of-way, reserving to the city, the public, certain existing utility easements. Pursuant to applicable state statutes, public notice was given at least 20 days in advance of the scheduled public hearing. And after the hearing, the City Commission will act to approve or disapprove the petitions to vacate based upon input gathered at the hearing. If approved, ordinances would be adopted and would become effective 30 days after publication on the City of Hayes website, unless one or more interested parties files a written protest. The city's attorney's office was involved in laying out this process and preparing the legal documents, and there's no financial impact associated with this action. So the public hearing action would be to consider vacating first the 2917 Vine Street property.
Okay, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now we're going to hold that on to the next one.
You'll do the ordinance with this, and then you can open the public hearing for the next item, close it if there's no comments, and then
Do
take
the other
action
one
on
as
the
well.
ordinance.
Okay, so John, is there a presentation for this other
Right.
than?
No, just the action to adopt the ordinance.
I move we approve ordinance number 3997, vacating a portion of Vine Street frontage road right-of-way adjacent to 2917 Vine Street and reserving a public utility easement.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Burgess. Any other questions or discussions? If not, I'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. I'll open the second public hearing, Vine Street Frontage Road public hearing to consider vacating 3201, property at 3201 Vine. Don't.
Is anybody here?
Doesn't look like it.
a motion that we close the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Action requested.
I'll move to approve ordinance number 3998, vacating a portion of Vine Street frontage road right-of-way adjacent to 3201 Vine Street and reserving a public utility easement.
Second.
And moved by Commissioner Burgess, seconded by Commissioner Musel. Any other questions or discussion? Not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Bickelschmidt Sports Complex Synthetic Infield Turf awarded bid.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jeff Boyle, Director of Parks. As you know, the City Commission requested that city staff get proposals for synthetic infield turf at the sports complex. This was a project the Commission discussed using the part of the quarter-cent sales tax for a portion of it to help pay for it. Also, the Hayes Recreation Commission agreed to provide $750,000. Now, this slide's different from what you've seen last week. Last week we had some further discussions about an alternate that we're going to be discussing, and the Hayes Rec Commission graciously provided an additional $50,000 to help cover those costs. So I'm very, very happy to report that to you tonight. These are the proposals received with the alternates. As you can see, alternate number 5, which was discussed last week, was added in. Mid-America Sports Construction is still the low bid at $1.822 million. The base bid for the project includes the stone base, the drainage underneath to carry the water away, obviously the synthetic turf on the top, and then replacement panels at home plate and on the pitching mound. Base bid was $1,350,874. To that we add the recommended alternates. Alternate number 1 is to repair the transition zone where the infield meets the outfield. What we're referring to here is the area where the red dirt has drifted out into the grass. It's created a hump on all of our fields. Now, staff has worked diligently to keep this lip under control, but it still exists. It's hard to see with the naked eye, but it still exists. It really, to do this job right, that lip needs to come out. So alternate number 4 is to expand infield 8 that we talked about into a full-size baseball field with 90-foot bases, and also to expand fields 5 and 6 to allow for 80-foot bases. And I'll have a visual coming up that we can kind of look at that a little bit more. But what this does is it allows 2 fields out there for 14 and under tournaments. Currently, Hayes Rec is using not only Larks Park but Glassman and Hayes High School to try and have those tournaments out there. So this would give us 2 full-size fields at the complex and keep more folks out there. And
Hey, Jeff.
yes, sir.
I should have asked this last week. Why are we only doing 4? Is there no need for 8?
I don't think, talking with Roger, it seems like with the 2 fields, I think we're going to gain a lot of ground as far as we might have to overflow at Glassman or maybe Hayes High, but this second field will really shorten up the tournaments and what have you. So in our discussions, we didn't think it was necessary to do that for no more 14 and under tournaments that we have.
So I know that high school, Hayes High, I think, plays at Glassman, their games, is that correct? Will they be able to play out there if needed or wanted, I guess? Okay. Oh. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
We are limited by our outfield fences,
Yeah,
so
right.
but still play 14 and under.
Yeah.
Alternate number 5 is one that we discussed last week that was not part of the original recommendation due to the cost. This alternate is $264,000, but it's really an important alternate to include in this. And what it is turfing all 16 bullpens. As I mentioned last week, we had heard some horror stories from Dodge City when they did not do their bullpens. And recent discussions with Great Bend, I was talking to the gentleman down there, and he said there's no way they were going to not do their bullpens because of their new turf. So I really think it's important that we do this, and and get that part of the project done.
Jeff, is that gonna be the heavier turf?
No,
Bullpens, it'll be the thinner turf.
it's the thinner turf, yes. Alternate number 9 was to provide 500 pounds of SBR infill. That's the rubber infill that goes into the turf. Again, there's no additional cost for that, so we would obviously want to accept that alternate. And then alternate number 10 is to remove the red dirt that's on the current infields and stockpile it, which would allow city staff to then pick that up and move it to Glassman and Auble-Bickle ball fields. Both areas are in dire need of red dirt right now. To bring that red dirt in right now, we're estimating that cost at $45,000 to $50,000 based on the materials we've already bought for the complex in past years. So for $12,000, we can save, we won't have to spend the 45. It'd just be basically labor and equipment to haul it, and then some laser grading. So I think that's a no-brainer as one of the alternates. So by adding alternate 5, we showed this slide last week. This kind of gives you the picture. There was $98,720 saved on the shade structure project out there. And then the Arc Park parking lot, there was $49,863 saved. We would propose that be put towards this project to help pay for the extra funding for alternate 5. So as you can see, the total is $1,693,523, which is about $43,523 over our budget, and that is the amount that Hayes Rec threw in $50,000 to make sure that amount was covered. So that's how the financing part of it would play out if you desire. And it is our recommendation to do all the alternates listed plus the base bid and have a $20,000 contingency. Last meeting we talked about the contingency. We need to seed the warning tracks so that we also don't have red dirt being brought in from the warning tracks onto our turf. And then also we know if you accept alternate number 4, we already know that we have to move some irrigation heads and lines. So we already know there's costs involved there as well. Again, this is a proposed field layout. Upper right-hand corner is the northeast quad. There's no changes to the infield size on those. Those are 70-foot bases. You cannot go any larger than that. Second base ends up out in the grass if you do. On the southwest quad, lower left, you can see the dark shaded area on field 8. This darker color right here. This would be turf that would be removed that currently exists, and that would become AstroTurf. That would enlarge the field and allow 90-foot bases. On field 5 and 6, you can see the darker blue area here on both of those fields. Those are not expanded as far, but they would allow for 80-foot bases. So what does that do for us? Well, it allows the 2 bottom fields can play 14 and under baseball on 90-foot bases. The upper 2 allows us to expand those to 80-foot bases, which allows 13 and under. In addition to that, we'll have base plugs on all these fields where the 90-foot bases can be moved to 80-foot, which will allow 4 fields for 13 and under. So it really changes what we can do out there as far as the quantity and types of tournaments that we can have. Here's a close-up of the northeast quad. Again, you can see how close second base is to the turf. And then right here. So to move that out another 10 foot, we would be in the grass. So the kids would be sliding into the grass lip, but for softball, it's perfect. Again, southeast quad blown up a little bit. You can kind of see where the artificial turf would be expanded to. Proposed infield colors. These are the colors that we think would be best for the facility. Basically, it's I call it brown infield, and then the brown bullpens, and then the area around the infield would be the green material. Here's the options the commission has. Approve the bid as recommended, decline the bid, direct staff to another option. And this is the action requested if you choose to move forward with the item. And I will let you know that Brock Wilson from Mid-America Sports Construction is in the room with us tonight. If you have any specific questions on turf, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to answer those for you.
I move we approve the base bid, alternate number 1, alternate number 4, alternate number 5, alternate number 9, and alternate number 10 from Mid-America Sports Construction for the installation of synthetic turf on 8 infields at the Bickel-Schmidt Sports Complex for an amount of $1,822,106, plus an additional $20,000 in contingency funds for unknowns, with $750,000 from the Hayes Recreation Commission and $1,092,106 from the City Commission Capital Reserves.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Musil. Discussion, questions, comments?
I did, but I lost track of what I was thinking.
I'm going to make a comment about this. I did the last time, and I'm going to do it again. What we're doing out at that sports complex is just amazing, amazing. I didn't believe we'd get it done in this amount of time. More people are talking to me about this action that we're taking than almost anything else except one other item that we've done since I've been a commissioner. And I really want to thank Commissioner Musil. He has stayed with this project, but he wanted it from the very beginning. Ron's throwing things at him, but we still like him.
Falling down, falling down.
And it's very near and dear to his heart, but it's also a really wonderful thing for our community, not only from a quality of life issue, but from an economic standpoint. We're going to be bringing tournaments, we're going to be bringing things out here. And then secondly, the collaboration between the city and the Rec Commission. I want to congratulate you guys again. Without you, this would not happen. So we appreciate it very, very much, and stepping up with an additional 50 was even more than I expected. So those are my comments, and I really appreciate all of you.
Mayor, thank you. You know, the rec, thank you guys for everything you guys have done and continue to do. You know, I have people talk all the time, you know, I've had people in the last couple of weeks, well, isn't it good enough now? And it is. I mean, we got a great complex, but everybody around us is doing this, if not more, and if we want to continue to be viable and bring in these tournaments, we have to do this. And I'm just so excited for, you know, I've got one kid that will get to play a little bit on it, but it's just for what it brings to our community. You know, and I was looking at the information that the Docking Institute gave to us a year or so ago, and with all the tournaments, I think it was in 2018, if I got my numbers right, it was over $1 million that we brought into our community. And I mean, that's almost paying for this, you know, in 1 year. And the more tournaments we get, the more people's going to be coming here. And, you know, last year during COVID, you know, we had 80 tournaments for a softball tournament, or 80 teams. Something like, I mean, that was unbelievable.
That's unreal.
You know, and stuff. And that was in the middle of a pandemic. So if we can do that during then, I mean, it's going to be great for our community. I'm so excited, not only for now. And also, you know, I was talking to somebody that was one of the volunteers on this many years ago. And I know, Roger, I believe you were one of this. There was people, 10, 12 years ago that did this, that did a lot of grassroots to get this going, and they did the best they could for what we had. But now we have a different funding source, and we can make it even better. And I'm so excited for it. So it's one question I have on the alternate 5. Will they have the what do you call the pitching mounds? Will they move in there? Will the portable mounds? So really, the grass in there doesn't have to be the really strong grass, or I don't know.
Roger, you want to come up?
Yeah, would you come and talk about that?
Thank you.
Because I know a lot of those mounds already have artificial turf on them, and so I don't think it's real important what's underneath, but maybe I'm wrong.
Right. Roger Bixman, Superintendent of the Hayes Recreation Commission, and I would like to convey our thanks from the Recreation Commission and our board of members just for the support of the City Commission and the shade structures that are out there now. I know they're wrapping those up. It's unbelievable when you drive out there and how different the complex looks, and the scoreboards we'll be getting in June. So thank you all for all your support, and we're really excited about that. And I would also like to introduce Brandon Maska. He's our complex director now. He's been our adult sports director for, 6 or 7 years now, and so he's got dual roles right now, so he's extremely busy. And I know, I keep telling him next year will be a lot better because of maintenance. we won't have as much maintenance to do, and he spends a lot of time doing that. So, but back to the question on high wear area. So the portable mounts, and Brock might be able to answer this too, but those are movable to different distances, and I wouldn't think it would cause much problem. Now, the girls' fast pitch, when they pitch from 43 and 40 feet, there might be some wear there. So that's why we have the replacement panels for those areas. Adult softball, typically, I mean, they're not pushing off and like they are for fast pitch, so.
Okay.
Anything else to add to that, Brock? Do you see anything with turf?
Oh, okay. Oh, it is more dense on, okay, got you, okay. Where they're pitching and stuff, that makes sense, okay.
But the portable mounts for baseball, I mean, we'll replace those as needed.
Yeah.
Whenever we need to, so.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank
I've
you.
also had, oh, I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead.
I'll just make my comments. I have 3 boys. 2 of them will be playing on it for several years, and the next one coming up here in a couple of years will be playing on it. So I'm excited from, I guess, a personal and a parent standpoint. I do want to very much show appreciation to the Hayes Rec again. Coming out of last week's work session, it was kind of brought up maybe additional funding, and I think within a week, however you guys twisted arms or not. But I think that just shows a big collaboration to go get another 50,000. I don't think it was a deal breaker if you wouldn't have had anything else, but to be able to do that with your board, I think it shows some faith in our commission and in what the Hayes Rec is doing. So that was a big step up. I don't know if it's a deal breaker trying to put the bullpens in. There's only I raised a little bit of a question about it, but that's very much appreciated that this was coming together as a collaboration.
Anything, Commissioner Rear?
Yeah, I'd like to echo that too. I mean, Roger, thank you and your team for doing that. I think by the end of this year, we're going to have one of the best sports complexes around. That's for sure. It's a beautiful area now, and it's only getting better. So I'm excited to see all the people come into Hayes and see all the work that your team and our teams have done together, and it's going to be great. I'm very excited for the future of the complex.
I also was contacted by a couple hoteliers and more than one restaurant. You don't think about that. They're sitting out there waiting for this vote just as much as anybody else, and they're thrilled to be able to think about filling up their hotels throughout this whole process. It's just another example of the things that we're doing in this community throughout this year in finding collaborations between everybody. Whatever groups we can bring together, we're getting lots and lots of stuff done. So.
I was listening to the radio Friday, and Dustin Armbruster was talking about, I think somebody from Manhattan that he knows, and they won't come to Hayes anymore because they only pick the places that have artificial turf because it's a lot of travel, and they don't want to go there and get rained out. And I mean, we got a great place out there, but we want these people to continue to come, and it will happen. So I'm very excited about this. And once again, thank you, Roger, and your team. Really appreciate it. And Jeff, you've done a lot of work on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, do we have any idea when this might get started?
August 1st is the date that Brock and his team are looking at, so I think they're ready to roll with it, and they're anxious to get going. So I think they'd probably want to start earlier if we gave them that opportunity, but we got to wait till then.
Little League season ends into July, doesn't it? Is that how?
July, actually, we're on schedule, so July the 5th and 7th will pretty much wrap up.
Pretty much be the end.
Barring rainouts.
But you have
Don't have to worry about the future. And then we have that national girls 16 and 18 tournaments, July 13th through the 17th. And then Brandon's got a few adult games, I think, like the 12th and 19th. So but we can work around that if we need to. We've already talked about moving our fall co-ed softball league to Glassman this fall.
I told these guys I'd pack a picnic lunch. We'll go sit out there and watch. Get started.
Oh, let's go play.
We could do that too. If there's nothing else, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Commissioner Musil,
I got nothing.
Commissioner Melick,
I have nothing.
Commissioner Burgess. Commissioner Reuter.
I guess probably say something, right? Yeah, I thank you guys again. I appreciate all the hard work you've done. Jeff, you and your crews have been taking on a lot recently, so I appreciate you guys working as hard as you do. You got a lot coming up on your plate, and Hayes is going to look real nice for it, so I appreciate that. I know everybody probably saw the overdose information out on Hayes Post. Please, if you can, especially it seems to hit a lot of the younger crowd. Please be safe and careful and smart. Do what you need to do and look out for your friends and family. It's just as much of an epidemic as the coronavirus was. Just look out for each other and take care of one another and do what you can to make smart choices. Any help for those who are needing it is worth it. They'll appreciate it in the long run if you're looking out for them now. So if you can, just keep an eye out for them and keep awareness up. That's all I have.
I wanted to stress the same thing to our Parks Department. You guys are overloaded. When I drive around town and see the things that are going on, you've just been doing an amazing job. And I want you, please thank your team specifically from us, because we do recognize and we do understand what they're going through, and it's just barely getting into summer, so it could be a long summer. We're adjourned. Oh, I didn't ask, you want executive session?
Oh, yeah, now I do.